Καλημέρα. Άκης Γιούχας ονομάζομαι. Θα γυρίσω στα αγγλικά. I will switch to English. I raised up in Germany and started my career at Accenture, Germany in '95. And at some point I decided to go to Greece. And in Greece I became a CIO of a small bank. And there it was the first time when I was hacked. So this is a story about being hacked and how this is an opportunity to become a security leader. So some words about Accenture Security. Accenture is a very, very big company, as you might know. And, but even in terms of security, we are quite big too. We are more than 5,000 people. And my biggest asset right now, I view, is not only the people I have here in Greece, but also a center that we have in Prague. In Prague, we have one center with 120 people, and about 10% of them are Greek. They decided to spend their life there, and they work there, and they hack companies from there. We have more than 300 clients, and you see the daily security events that we process are more than 5 billion. So we have SOC, CMs, and ethical hacking is one of our jobs that we love. So the services that we offer are this that you see here. So we are talking about strategy and risk, cyber defense, digital identity, and application security, and all this can be done always as a managed service. So if you want to become a security leader, you have to cover all of this, you can say, yeah? The thing is, most of the time, when you are a security leader, the business gets a lower priority and isn't anymore, or is locked, very, very safe, but is not enabled to do its job better. So we have to take care that we sometimes don't overdo it, but in Greece, I think most of the time, we have to do more. It's rarely that we overdo it. So I will talk about two cases, and case number one is a bank. Both cases are banks. It's a bank in Europe. I cannot say the name. And this bank is in a country similar of the size of Greece. And the bank came to us and asked us to hack them. So we did an assessment, and actually they said, yeah, try to find a way to break in and steal the keys to the safe. So we went to Prague and used our center, and we did actually 3 things there in order to get the keys of the safe. So we did an email phishing campaign, a phone phishing campaign, and vulnerability tests on the applications and the infrastructure. So all of the 3 were successful, and I don't think that somebody here really expects that there's a company that is totally safe. We all know here that, I mean, it's quite more or less easy, yeah, to hack into a company. And the thing is, you even see that the phone phishing campaign is even more successful than the email phishing campaign. So because when you do a phone phishing campaign, you call somebody, you tell to the employee that, hello, I'm from IT help desk, and please open your browser, go to this site, and enter there this URL and your credentials. And because there is the interactivity between humans, the people are even less careful. So we obtained, of course, the keys to the vault, and this was a very good starting point, to make this client a security leader. So after they realized how easy it is to get access, we did some measures and we did some things to improve the situation. 3 things were done. The first thing is we closed some immediate gaps. a very simple thing is that you can do is you block the external emails that mimic the client's domain, yeah? It's a very simple thing. But we also introduced a multi-factor authentication for the domain accounts. And we introduced a privileged identity management solution for the management of the administrative accounts. But the same important thing is the training of the people. So it's not just, you know, taking a screwdriver and fix some things, but it's also to make people more aware in the company about the problem that they have. And here the training has to be smart, meaning you don't do a generic training for all the people, but privileged users need to get a different training than a user that has everything blocked. Yeah, it's obvious. And the same appears for the executive. The executive needs to be not only aware, he needs to understand what's going on and what are the risks and what can you do. And the third thing is very interesting, is they decided to move more applications to the cloud. Because when you move to the cloud, you have some security capabilities easier accessible, and your spending in order to get it is cheaper. So, in fact, they decided to move every application to the cloud except of the core banking application, which is on AS400. So all applications are right now, as we talk, going to the cloud. And what they get from this exercise is the DDoS protection. They get advanced web application firewalls that they don't have right now. They have a unified log management. It's much easier in the cloud to enforce multi-factor authentication. And it's easier also to access encryption and storage of encryption keys. So these things, they went to the cloud because of security, while we here in Greece often say we don't go to the cloud because of security. This is the interesting thing. And of course, this bank is far away of becoming a security leader, but they have done step one. And step one was to have the proper awareness of the problem, of the issue. And so you can say they are always some steps away from companies that don't do this thing. So our second case, I want to go to a bank which is really a security leader and is really, in terms of numbers and in terms of business, in terms of revenues, in terms of everything, a leader in banking. Again, I cannot say the name, but the name starts with J, so JP. Okay. And this bank is a very, very large American bank. And they operate more than 1,000 branches. It's more than 3,000 ATMs. The users are, I think, close to 20,000. And they have a lot of applications running in the cloud as SaaS, so software as a service. And the truth is, this bank is so big and the applications are so many that it is very, very hard to get an overview of how many applications actually do they use in the cloud as SaaS. It was back in 10, 20 years ago, it was much easier to find out how many applications a bank has, but even a small bank in Greece has more than 100 applications. Yeah? You can easily imagine the number of this bank, of applications that are in the cloud. But how many are there actually? And now comes a tool in the game, which is called CASP. It's Cloud Access Security Broker. It's a relatively new thing, you can say. I think the term was defined by Gartner. So it's a set of security solutions that go between the company and the cloud. So this CASP is between you and the cloud. And it's mainly for addressing 4 issues. It's the visibility of what you're doing in the cloud, the compliance, the data security, and the threat protection. So this second case is about getting a CASP in place. So the CASP is something which is below the cloud, And it's talking via APIs to your other security solutions. And it's also using the proxies, leveraging the proxies, even reverse or forward, to retrieve the information and do the analytics and do all the calculations and give you the information that you want. This is a bit more detailed, but I think I will go to the next page. So, the client wanted to use this CASP not only to understand what is going on, but also in order to improve the security. So, what we did is we gathered all the proxy data, you send it to the CASP the first time, there the CASP analyzes the data and the risks are determined. And when you have determined the risk, then you come up with a roadmap in order to address the issues that you will have, and you will have a lot. In this exercise, we found out that the bank has more than 1,000 applications in the cloud that are used by the people. And not all of them were authorized by the IT. And not all of them were visible to the IT that these applications are in place and are used. And in not all of them, there was okay to have the data of the company stored. And if I say not all of them, I don't mean 2 or 3%. It's always something like 20, 30, 40%. So in order to get the CASP to work, you have first to understand your goals and the business objectives. I think this is a thing we often forget, and we don't do it good enough. And then you evaluate your CASPs or your CASP solution through a pilot and, or a POC, and you create what we say a risk baseline, and so that you can rate afterwards what are your functional priorities, where do you want to go. And when you have done the first 3 steps, then actually you can select the right CASP. CASP, currently, I think there are around 20 there. If you go to Gartner, you will find the solution. It's a very, very dynamic market right now because it's quite new. And we expect that in 2 years from now, 85% of all large enterprises will have a CASP. Yeah? So you can say if in 2020, 85% of the big enterprises will have a CASP, then, okay, maybe in 2 or 3 years in Greece, we will have these CASPs too, at least at larger companies. So this is my final page. What I want to say as a final message is, this is all nice and good, but many times we don't do a good job in changing the operating model and bring it there in order to do the things I want to do. So if you introduce a CASP, again, you have to adjust and enhance your operating model. Thank you very much.